guys, I'm back for another video, and welcome to Hypixel SkyBlock. And today, I'm back for another tutorial. So, I'm here on my hardcore Ironman profile. We know it's not officially Ironman because I made the profile before the feature existed. But anyways, Hypixel SkyBlock staff actually introduced the Ironman game mode as an option when making new profiles. Well, anyways, this new mode is difficult because you are not allowed to trade with any players. You're not allowed to use the auction house bazaar. You can't use gifts. You can't take splashes from what I can tell. You basically can't interact with anybody at all, and you have to do everything yourself. So obviously it's quite the challenge, and honestly I openly invite challenge like this because it makes the game fun. But anyway, in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a whole bunch of tips on how to survive in such a harsh environment. So, let's go. So, the first piece of advice that I would have is to not directly worry about coins. I know when you're using the bazaar or the auction house, your main focus is nothing but coins. Now, obviously, that looks a little hypocritical coming from me. I have nothing but clay minions on this side. Well, most of my minions are clay, but that's because I already went and got myself 27 minion slots. Making money is not the #1 priority. I would say prioritize minions over everything. Get a crazy amount of minion slots. And the thing is, right, minions are your lifeline in an Ironman environment, because you're not going to be able to buy anything from anybody, which means essentially every single grind in this game is up to you or your minions. With that, I would say the first thing you should do before you even like play the game, well, actually, I think there's a skill requirement. I just take that back. Whenever you can access the community center, you should immediately go for the minion slots upgrade because it's free, it doesn't cost anything, and I mean, it's a free minion slot. But anyway, yeah, so that's a thing. But also, you should still try and get some coins. So primarily, get stuff, get materials. Don't focus directly on just getting something and then selling it to NPC. There's not a lot of stuff you should sell to the NPC except for diamonds from diamond spreading. That is I would say the easiest way to get money in the early game. And honestly, if you have like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minion slots and you have diamond spreading on a bunch of mining minions, you make a decent enough amount of money. You can get by and do, I guess, technically the second suggestion of the video, which is to go for NPCs. So you'll notice there are NPCs that sell all sorts of things. This is the mine merchant. This is a favorite of mine. You can buy 10 stacks of iron, gold, coal, gravel, if you wanted to cobble for some reason. The mine merchant's great, would highly recommend. Another one that is really good, you can buy up to 10 stacks of all of these from the adventure: rotten flesh, bone, string, slime ball, gunpowder. Lumber merchant, you don't need lumber merchant, don't worry about him. Let's head over here. It might be helpful in the early game if you want to craft yourself a fishing sack, or if you wanted to make some spiked bait for fishing, you could buy raw fish and puffer fish. So that is really helpful. The alchemist is great because buying a ton of blaze powder and then killing endermen and crafting these together to make enchanted eyes of ender is very helpful. Glistening melon, you can purchase lots of this. Once you get the recipe for it, you can make enchanted glistening melon, which you could use to craft instant health potions for the fire trial. Rabbit's foot is great because it's needed for a lot of unique minions, and there's a lot of drops from rabbit minions, so you're gonna need more rabbit's feet than usual. Magma cream it's okay. I wouldn't really recommend spending money on that one. And gas tiers, do not spend any more than what is necessary on gas tiers. It's 12,800 coins just for one stack. So I would say just get enough to craft a tier 1 minion, I would say, with gas tiers. Spider eyes, obviously unique minions. That's the thing. For most of these merchants, you're going to want to use the materials that you get on unique minions. The build merchant's my favorite one. So this is cool because there are multiple menus here. You don't have to worry about the wood one, but the stone one, you can buy 10 stacks of obsidian, which is helpful. Let's see. If we were to go to Green Thumb, you can buy Dandelions for upgrading the Flower Minion. That's useful for anybody, not just Ironman profiles. And then Variety, you can get 10 stacks of blocks of quartz, which could be crafted into enchanted quartz. Great for crafting minions and talismans. Glowstone, same thing. You can also get sponge if you wanted to make sponge armor and then upgrade it to the shark armor. That is very helpful. Unfortunately, these two variants of quartz cannot be crafted into enchanted quartz. And then, of course, there's the classic builder menu, which has a separate 10 stack limit, which means you can get another 10 stacks of blocks of quartz. Ice, I wouldn't even recommend placing an ice minion down. You can literally get 40 enchanted ice per day from the merchant, which means within like 2 weeks you can max out the minion if you buy ice every day. Make a point to buy these materials from the merchants every single day, and some of them you can prioritize over others. Maybe you don't need slime every single day, but some of them you are going to want every single day. I would say, like, you know, ice, because easy unique minions. And Pat has more gravel and flint. One thing about gravel, I'd recommend buying gravel from the merchants, because what you could do is you can go to your private island and then you can place all the gravel down and then use a flint shovel with efficiency 5 telekinesis to convert all of it into flint. So yeah, basically, long story short, take advantage of the merchants, because they're a very helpful resource. Because again, you don't have bazaars, so it's either you buy 10 stacks of rotten flesh or grind for 10 stacks of rotten flesh. That takes a very long time, and if you have extra diamonds lying around from diamond spreading in your minions, then you can convert that value into other drops that are harder to get. The next tip is to focus on getting common pets as soon as possible. Now, this could arguably be a suggestion for anybody, but it's especially helpful in Ironman profiles because you need extra stats for cheap. So anyways, rock pet. If you do enough manual mining, which I'd recommend early on. Oh, by the way, since minions are basically your entire like lifeline in this style of profile, you're going to want to follow my minion guide. The link is in the top right hand corner. Obviously, ignore any advice that I give pertaining to the bazaar, but I have some really good bits of advice in there, including rushing haste 3, efficiency 5 golden axe, getting all of your wood minions to tier 6, getting a ton of uniques from that, making medium storages, putting diamond spreading in everybody, getting getting regular compactors for everybody, enchanted charcoal, prioritizing which minions over which other minions, which ones can you manually grind, for example, lobby hopping with a rookie hoe to upgrade the netherwort minion or the potato minion in a hub. But you know, there's a lot of advice that I would highly recommend, because again, I describe all the minions that could be grinded for manually really efficiently, while the more annoying grinds, for example the mining minions, are, you know, left to the minions themselves. Anyways, you should click that tutorial before we continue on. But anyway, yeah, back to the other thing. So getting common pets, very good. As if you follow my minion guide, you will see early on there's a lot of manual mining that you have to do. So you will probably get a rock pet. It's not a bad idea to level it up, because look at that defense buff, almost 200 defense. I'm at level 90, so at level 100 that is 200 defense, and I've actually done enough mining that today I got a rare rock. So that's really great for defense. And even better is common Enderman, because it gives you crit damage. It is incredible. Would highly recommend getting a common Enderman pet. You can find them obviously on the end island. Kill the Enderman towards the top over here, and then you might get one. If you stick to the bottom, you're only going to get rare Enderman pets. I would recommend sticking to common only, because the stat buff that they give is really good, and it levels up way quicker than something like a rare one, which might have more perks, but they're not really as helpful as just the straight up stat boost. But anyway, yeah, prioritize common pets, except for Griffin. Griffin, I would say you should rush uncommon because of legendary constitution, permanent regen 5 and strength 7 alongside these crazy stat buffs. 35 crit damage, so a griffin is almost like a better enderman pet. But you know, it's a bit harder to get because you have to craft it with a bunch of expensive materials during the mythological event. But if you can get your hands on it, uncommon griffin is one of the best damaging pets in the early game, even in the mid game. And then once you upgrade it to, say, legendary and get it to level 100, it's one of the best pets in the entire game for damage. So yeah, I would recommend griffin 100%. Is great. Oh, and here's another obvious one, but pay close attention to the events and make sure to attend as many of them as possible, because again, no bazaar. So if you miss a spooky festival, you're not getting any candy and you're not going to be able to buy it later. So if you have to get up in 2 in the morning to do a spooky festival, well, it's either that or you don't get anything. So I would just be hyper aware of the events. Also, winter events is another thing. At the moment, as of recording, you can't exchange gifts at all with Ironman profiles. That doesn't seem right. I would recommend that the staff make it so you can at least give a gift, but you can't receive them if you're an Ironman profile user. That's my opinion. Oh, here's another tip, actually. I just got reminded of this just by looking at the mare. But it would be a great idea if you were to change up your grind depending on whose mare. Right now, Aatrox's mare, which halves the price of starting Slayer quests and gives a 25% buff to Slayer XP this time around, which is great. That is an excellent time to do Slayers. For example, if there's a mythological event and there's the plus 25% pet luck, that would be a great time to use up your eggs that you were saving up from a chicken minion and maybe attempt crafting a pet, you know? But just pay attention to the mare that's active, and if you can save some money with Slayer, that's a great thing, because with this profile, you're not going to be getting as many coins as a typical profile. So you need every chance you can get to save money. Oh, another event to pay attention to is the Oringo event, which is, you know, traveling zoo. If you check over here, there's one of them in a day and 5 hours. If you're lucky, you can get yourself a common tiger. I actually haven't done anything with it yet because I have a griffin pet, so I'm kind of focusing leveling him up. But tiger's not bad either because of that ferocity bonus. Another good one is elephant pet. I'm actually leveling this for the express purpose of getting it to legendary eventually, because it will have a perk that gives me more crops, which means just faster progression. I'll talk about manual farming in a bit. Oh, here's another simple one. It's too bad I can't show you on the Jerry Island because it's not active right now. But if you're gonna get starting with fishing, just skip straight to the winter rod. You can buy it at the Jerry Island. It's not that expensive, doesn't cost that many coins, but it's the best sea creature chance, and I think it's the best fishing speed you're gonna get for an early game fishing rod. Use that until you can afford to craft yourself a rod of champions. Even a challenging rod is not as good. Well, actually, challenging rod is just as good, but maybe not with sea creature chance. Okay, so as I was saying before, since you have to do all the grinding yourself, don't even bother doing a certain type of grind until you've maximized your efficiency with it. For example, like with the Minion guide, right? If you want to run efficiency 5, haste 3 on a golden axe, only do as much foraging as you have to, right? Don't go nuts and try and get every minion to tier 11 because the Treecapitator exists. And to get Treecapitator, you need a ton of obby collection, as you can see. You need 25,000 obsidian collection, and even more scarily, you need 8 stacks of enchanted obby. Now, I managed to do that on my profile by killing obby defenders, but of course, to optimize that grind, you need a high amount of speed and you need to one-tap things, which is why I got myself farmer boots, obby chestplate. This is a great combination, by the way. Do not underestimate obby chestplate and farmer boots. I'm a farming level 25, I think, on this profile, and that gives me a bonus speed of 100. The obby chestplate gives you speed per obsidian in your inventory. So if I were to go like this and fill my inventory with obby, just those two things combined brings my speed to 311%. Now, there's a way to increase your speed even more with dungeons potions, but we'll get to that later, I guess. But anyway, if you can get your damage high enough with that and like 2/4 ender, then you can grind for the obsidian, which means you can get a tree cap, which means you'd be able to rationalize going for tier 11 oak minion if you wanted for some reason. But anyway, just don't bother just spending like 8 hours doing an inefficient version of some grind. Just focus on making your grind more efficient above all else. Also, the agronomy sack for farming. Let's go through this process, right? If you want an agronomy sack, what that's going to do is make it so you can fill your inventory with obby and get all that speed, but you can still farm without, you know, your inventory filling up right away. Or personal compactor, but that one's pretty expensive, but that's a great option as well. But that means you got to farm wheat. But if you're going to farm wheat, that means you want replenish. Otherwise, you have to spend time replanting, which means that the first thing you have to do is grind beans. This is the amount of layers you need with bean to be able to harvest a whole layer and then restart right away. 15 layers of bean full width. Yeah, 3 blocks tall of beans. And what I did that was pretty smart, actually, is I had another farm right underneath. And I just built this right above so I could just punch at the beans like this with like 100% speed. If you're too fast, you're gonna miss them all. But anyway, start your grind with beans. I would recommend even getting, what is it, replenish on a golden axe first, so you can get another replenish book, put it on a hoe. There's actually a farming update coming out soon, so maybe rookie hoe won't be meta anymore, but at the moment it still is. But like literally in a day or two it might not be, depends when they get the farming event done. Oh, another one is I can't actually demonstrate it anymore. I removed it on this profile. I broke down the thing, but my famous cobblestone generator that I talk about in every tutorial. Oh my god, getting that crazy cobble generator with a haste 3 efficiency 5 golden axe is really good. That's something I show off in my minion guide, so I'd recommend still clicking the minion guide. It's right there in the eye in the top right hand corner. Click on it. Seriously, if you haven't seen the minion tutorial, you're missing out. Oh, and one thing I would say specifically about minions as well, prioritize coal minions in the start, because there's a lot you can get with them. For example, enchanted charcoal, which could be used to upgrade all your other minions. Well, not upgrade, to just speed them up. Always have fuel in your minions. That's a piece of advice I had in my minion video. Also, coal minions are easy to level up. You can make Wither Skelly pet, which is notoriously good for people in dungeons. Berserker, it's a ridiculous pet because it like basically triples your damage at level 100 legendary. It's insane. Also, it's used to craft enchanted lava buckets, which again, no bizarre. The only way you're gonna get enchanted lava buckets for everybody is if you prioritize coal. So yeah, coal minions are great. Would highly recommend coal. One thing that's really early on, getting growth 5 prot 5 on, I think it's mushroom armor. Mushroom armor is great with growth 5 prot 5. It triples your stats. Also reforges too, so Titanic. It triples your stats at night. This is the highest effective max HP you're gonna get in the early game. It costs nothing to make, and enchanting it is only like, you know, 60 levels per enchant. Getting growth 5 and thorns 3, and then just adding prot 5 is another 10 levels per piece. It is great though. Would highly recommend mushroom armor. Not only alongside with the instant health potions will it get you to epic rarity of fire trial badge, which is actually what I have, I think. Oh no, I have the legendary one, but also it's good for Sven's 1 and 2. I don't know about 3. Maybe here's a little experimental piece of advice. If you were to pair that armor that I just said, the Titanic, maybe you could go fierce with the mushroom set at night. If you had a prismarine blade maxed out. Prismarine blade's interesting because if you go into the collection here, prismarine blade actually deals 200% more damage while in water. So I haven't tested this, but I heard it can be kind of insane if you dunk yourself in like the pool over by the castle. If you were to, I don't know, dunk yourself in that pool of water down there, slap away at a wolf with a prismarine blade, I don't know. That could be a thing. I haven't tried it, but that could be interesting. But anyway, especially for, you know, early game slayers, mushroom's not bad. It'll keep you alive. It'll get you through the deep caverns. It'll get you through the blazing fortress. Oh, as I said before, pay attention to the mare, because I already talked about crafting unique pets. Wait until Diana's event with the plus 25 pet luck if you're gonna craft pets, because I mean, why would you just waste that free 25 pet luck by crafting it any other time? Also, I would say, you know, be stingy with most of your resources, but I would recommend spending an enchanted glowstone block or a lamp on a pet luck 4 potion. It's worth it. Oh, here's another one. Hot potato book everything. So again, coins don't matter in this profile, but your time does. There's certain weapons like the aspect of the end that you're going to carry with you until the end of your profile. Well, basically forever. Like even on my solo profile that's over a year old, I still carry around and actually main the aspect of the end because of the new warped reforge. But yeah, hot potato book your aspect of the end. Hot potato book your armor, because it doesn't take long to get 40 enchanted baked potatoes. It would probably take, I don't know, maybe 4 hours of grinding to get enough for your entire armor set and weapon. It is worth, trust me. And once you have replenish, well, that's assuming you have replenish on a rookie hoe, right? But as you can see, I have my small potato farm over there. It is 100% worth it to hot potato book everything. Your bow as well. Oh, magma bow. This is another thing I recommend in every tutorial ever. That consuming 1 magma cream for double damage per shot. That doubling of damage is after all the other damage calculations, which means it is ridiculous. Magma at the moment is so broken that it's better than spirit bow. It's better than mosquito bow. Well, I don't know about mosquito. Let's not get that far, but it is very close to mosquito, and it is definitely better than Runon's. So I would recommend magma bow, especially hot potato booked, because that hot potato book bonus gets doubled as well. So crazy. But yeah, hot potato book everything, really. Well, I would say not don't hot potato book mushroom armor. Sure, that's gonna get tripled too, but it's a waste of money. I don't know. I mean, sure, if you can't afford Mastiff, maybe do it for the memes, but it's a lot of work. Oh, here's a bit more of a late game suggestion. You might notice that the armor I'm wearing is Monster Raider. It is the Skeleton's Helmet, Guardian Chestplate, Creeper Pants, and Tarantula Boots. This is a great damaging set, and it has, I think, one of the most overlooked things about this armor set. People are like, oh, its damage is on par with Strong, so it's pretty good. But the health is like about the same. Well, it's a little worse, but you know, I hot potato booked it to keep up. But the thing is, right, no one talks about this, but the skeleton helmet and the guardian chestplate abilities, they work together to basically make it so you don't take damage like half the time. So like if I were to get attacked by, hello, and now I start taking damage, and those abilities regenerate not too long after they're used. So like if we wait in the chat, we're gonna get one of the bones back for our bone shield in a minute. See, your bone shield gained an extra bone, so that's cool. And then if I walk up to this, there you go, it procced another one. But this is especially helpful in dungeons, because the way dungeons typically works is you walk into a room, all the zombies chuck a bone at you, and it does a stupid amount of damage, and it almost kills you if you're on the early floors and you are pretty weak. But this is just going to tank that hit, and then when they slap you directly, it barely does anything. But like that really high damage start of the floor, just like you just entered the room and they hit you with the bone, that is not going to hurt you at all. So combined with the magma bow, Monster Raider and magma bow is a winning combination. This will basically, I would say with confidence, right, that you'll be able to, as long as you get your catacombs level up and you 5-star your helmet, you'll be able to survive probably comfortably up to floor 2. Like floor 2 you'll just be able to do, so entrance floor 1, floor 2, this will be fine. And then you can grind floor 2 until you can get yourself a skeleton master set. Obviously that's a dungeon set, which means that automatically it pretty much does better. I would avoid heavy armor and rotten armor. It's pretty trash, but if you can get yourself a skeleton grunt or master set, it's pretty good. Or skeleton soldier or master, not grunt. I don't know much about the other classes, to be honest. I did hear that running healer is not bad, because you know, you get milestones just for healing your friends, and you get to heal yourself, so that might not be a bad choice for Ironman profiles. But oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Monster Raider: outside dungeons, if you combine this with a Revenant Falchion, you can take on tier 4s, tier 4 revs. You don't even need a Reaper Falchion, especially if you get your combat skill high enough. This is the sort of set, because of its plus 35% damage buff. You actually, the advantage that it has over strong dragon armor gets more and more apparent as your combat level goes up. So basically, the damage scales at a higher rate than normal with this armor when you increase your combat skill. It's quite good. So you don't even need a Reaper Falchion, although it would make things faster. But, you know, if you're on a budget, which you are, because... I mean, if we go back to my island and I go to my storage, look at all this rotten flesh required just to make a Reaper Falchion. Ridiculous. Monster Raider takes about 2 weeks worth of minions. You know, you put down a Skelly minion for the helmet. Put down, like, I would say 2 or 3 creeper minions for the paints. Tarantula, you get yourself a flint minion, and then you do a bunch of tarantulas. Prismarine, you can just make that right away. The Guardian Chestplate's easy. One thing as well, if you can survive past tier 2 in dungeons, or floor 2 in dungeons, and get yourself, I don't know, your skeleton, let's say skeleton master. Let's say you get really lucky. I know I have, I'm working on that right now. I got skeleton soldier, not master. So I've got 2/3 skeleton soldier, 1 skeleton grunt. Once I get the other skeleton soldier, I'll probably be able to survive, if I had to guess, floor 3. But if you can survive to like floor 4 and 5, you'll start to get access to some really good potions. And since you're on an Ironman profile, you can't buy god potions from the auction house, which means either you have to spend money on cookies and bits. I personally don't do that. That's against the rules of my challenge, but you know, you do whatever you want. But if you're not doing any money related buying cookies or whatever, you get dungeons potions over here. Now, these are insane. I only have a dungeon 3 potion active because I've only survived past floor 2. But again, if you get to like floor 5, you get access to like a dungeon 6 potion, which is ridiculous. You get like crit 3, strength 4, regen. There's a bunch of explosions, but those potions are insane. Like, not only does it help you with dungeons, but it helps you out of dungeons. You can sip one of those potions and then immediately you get a speed buff, you get a crit damage buff, you get an archery damage bonus, you get all sorts of stuff. It's like a mini god pot, which is good for dragons. It's good for grinding summoning eyes, obby defenders, just doing damage in general. Maybe you're doing slayers. It's great. But anyway, yeah. Now here's the final piece of advice, I guess. But anyway, just go for dungeons potions. They're great. Oh, and parapets are extremely cheap in the dark auction now because god pots exist, so no one wants them anymore. So all of us Ironman players can scoop them up and use them for our own purposes because parapets are still quite good when you can't get god pots. Anyway, the final piece of advice for this video is to follow along with my hardcore Ironman series, because of course I do all this stuff. And if you want something fun to watch, me and Fezzy, it takes 13 hours of work between the both of us to put out one episode. So like 13, it's like about, I don't know, 5-6 hours of gameplay, 8 hours of compressing it and making it fun. But anyway, yeah, the series, it's a great time. And it also is like a super fast way of catching up on all the things that you should be doing in a hardcore profile. You'll learn from my mistakes. You'll learn from my discoveries. And yeah, well, anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Also, I literally just finished building this island today. But yeah, leave a like down below if you enjoyed this little guide tutorial thing. I recorded it at 3 in the morning. And I'm losing my mind, as always. But you know what? We gotta stay on that grind, man. The daily content. But yeah, I guess for now that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the hardcore series.